The story of artificial intelligence does not begin with machines. It begins with a human question, one that has echoed across centuries: can intelligence exist outside the human mind? Long before computers, philosophers imagined mechanical beings capable of thought, from ancient myths of animated statues to early automata powered by gears and steam. These ideas were not science, but they planted the first seeds of a future where intelligence might be built, not born. The modern journey of artificial intelligence truly began in the aftermath of World War II, at a time when humanity had witnessed both the destructive power and the potential of machines. In 1950, British mathematician Alan Turing published a paper that would quietly change history. Instead of asking what intelligence is, Turing proposed a simpler question: can a machine behave in a way that is indistinguishable from a human? His proposed experiment, later called the Turing test, did not define intelligence, but it challenged the world to reconsider its limits. 6 years later, in the summer of 1956, a small group of scientists gathered at Dartmouth College in the United States. Their proposal was bold and confident. They believed that every aspect of learning and intelligence could be precisely described, and that machines could be built to simulate it. It was here that the term artificial intelligence was officially born. At the time, optimism was limitless. Many researchers believed that human-level intelligence could be achieved within a generation. Early successes seemed to confirm their confidence. In the late 1950s and 1960s, computers learned to solve algebra problems, prove logical theorems, and play simple games. Programs like The Logic Theorist and ELIZA demonstrated that machines could mimic reasoning and conversation, at least in narrow ways. Governments and universities poured funding into AI research, convinced that thinking machines were just around the corner. But intelligence proved far more complex than expected. Early AI systems relied heavily on hard-coded rules, requiring humans to explicitly define every step of reasoning. These systems struggled outside controlled environments and failed when faced with ambiguity, uncertainty, or real-world complexity. Computers were slow, memory was expensive, and data was scarce. By the 1970s, progress slowed, promises went unfulfilled, and enthusiasm faded. This period became known as the first AI winter. Funding was reduced, projects were cancelled, and artificial intelligence became a cautionary tale of scientific overconfidence. Yet research did not stop, it retreated into quieter corners of academia, waiting for the world to catch up. In the 1980s, AI returned through expert systems, programs designed to replicate the decision-making abilities of human specialists. These systems were used in medicine, engineering, and industry, relying on large sets of rules derived from experts. For a time, they worked. Companies invested heavily, and artificial intelligence once again entered public attention. But expert systems were fragile. They were difficult to maintain, expensive to update, and unable to learn on their own. When conditions changed, they failed. By the late 1980s, enthusiasm collapsed once more, triggering a second AI winter. Artificial intelligence again seemed like a dream perpetually out of reach. What ultimately revived AI was not a single invention, but a convergence of forces. Computers became faster. Storage became cheaper. And most importantly, the world began generating vast amounts of data. At the same time, researchers revisited an old idea inspired by the human brain: neural networks. Though first proposed decades earlier, neural networks had been limited by hardware and data. In the 1990s and early 2000s, those limitations began to disappear. Algorithms improved, processing power increased, and networks grew deeper and more capable. Instead of relying on rigid rules, machines could now learn patterns directly from data. A symbolic moment arrived in 1997, when IBM's Deep Blue defeated world chess champion Garry Kasparov. For the first time, a machine had surpassed a human at a game long considered a benchmark of intelligence. While Deep Blue relied on brute force computation rather than true understanding, the message was clear: machines were no longer just tools, they were competitors. The real transformation came in the 2010s. Deep learning, a powerful form of neural networks, began producing dramatic results. Machines learned to recognize faces, translate languages, understand speech, and drive cars. In 2016, Google DeepMind's AlphaGo defeated the world's best Go player, a feat once thought impossible due to the game's complexity. Unlike earlier systems, AlphaGo learned strategies that even humans had never discovered. Artificial intelligence was no longer confined to laboratories. It entered smartphones, hospitals, financial markets, and homes. Recommendation systems shaped what people watched and read. Algorithms assisted doctors in diagnosing disease. Machines generated images, music, and human-like language. AI became invisible, embedded into daily life. Yet with this power came new questions. Artificial intelligence raised concerns about bias, surveillance, job displacement, and control. As systems grew more autonomous, society was forced to confront ethical dilemmas that technology alone could not solve. The question was no longer whether machines could think, but how their thinking should be guided. Today, artificial intelligence stands at a crossroads. It is neither a distant dream nor a finished creation. It is a tool shaped by human values, data, and decisions. Its future depends not only on engineers and scientists, but on society as a whole. The history of artificial intelligence is not just a story of machines. It is a reflection of humanity's desire to understand itself, to replicate intelligence, to extend capability, and to explore the boundary between the natural and the artificial. And as this story continues to unfold, one truth remains certain: the evolution of artificial intelligence will forever be intertwined with the choices we make as humans.